Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cameron. I have another installment in my truth series on my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the truth about going to college out of state. This video is here for the seniors in college who just got accepted to your college and it's out of state and you don't really know what to expect. You don't really know what that transition is going to be like. So this video is here to help you with that. And I think most people actually go to school in their home state. I know a lot of people go to school out of state too, but I think most people go to school in their home state or in their surrounding states if it is out of state. Most people don't really go cross country like me. For those of you who don't know, I live in California. I was born and raised in California. Most of my family is in California. And now I go to school in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I go to HBCU. The transition from living in California and moving to the South, it's like a whole new world. It's like a whole different culture. And I wasn't like expecting it. I'm actually the only person that I know outside of my parents and like two uncles. I'm the only person out of all my family, all my friends that went to school out of state. And not just went to school out of state, but went to school cross country. It's a lot. Okay, so before we get to this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and turn on post notifications so you be notified whenever I post a new video. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So just to start off, when I say going to school out of state, I mean pretty much going to a different coast. I don't mean if you live in Las Vegas and you go to school in Arizona. And I don't mean if you live in Texas and you go to school in Louisiana. Like, those are too close to each other. Those are in the same coast. They're in the same region. It's not that big of a difference. When I say going to college out of state, I mean you live in Montana and you go to school in Florida. You live in Illinois and you go to school in Wyoming. You know, it's completely different environments and a whole different atmosphere. First, I'll talk about the pros of going to college out of state. So when you go to college out of state, you get to meet a lot of new people, a lot of different people that are just completely different from you. They're not like the people that you grew up with at home. The way they speak is different. The way they act is different. Just the way that they operate is just like kind of different from what you're used to. And it's kind of like interesting to see that different dynamics. You get to see and learn their way of life. Like, you get to eat a lot of different types of foods. You get to see the way that they speak to each other, the way that they behave around each other. And it's like you're not used to it because it's so different from what you're used to when you were living back home in whatever state you're from. You're basically exposed to a whole new environment and it's so opposite from what you're used to. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm choosing to say it's a good thing. Just to see how other people live their life from what you were accustomed to. Clearly, one of the biggest pros of going to college out of state is that you get to live on your own and you get to get a real glimpse of what it's like to be an adult, what it's like to take care of things yourself and to handle your own responsibilities. If you're the type of person who grew up with like really strict parents, you don't have to answer to them really. You just get to do your own thing. You stay as late as you want, you wake up as early as you want, early or late as you want, and you get to do pretty much whatever you want. If you're talking about the weekends when nobody has class, you don't have your parents being on your back about every single thing that you're doing. I think really the biggest pro about going to college out of state is that it really helps you learn more about yourself. You really grow when you go to college out of state because you get to figure out what you like, what you don't like, and you're living on your own. It forces you to grow up and to become more of an adult because your parents aren't here. More than likely may not have any family out here. So you have to really handle things on your own and it forces you to grow up. It's really a good thing. And the thing that I realized about myself is that it was really such a blessing that I came out here. I just grew into the person that I was supposed to be. I realized that it was never ever meant for me to go to college in California. Because if I went to college in California, that probably just would have completely stunted my growth. I probably wouldn't be in the position that I am in now if I had gone to college in California, especially if I had gone to a college that was really close to home. I need to be by myself and be on my own to truly like elevate and grow, really be an adult and really take care of myself. I think that's a huge pro of going to college out of state. And I think a lot of people, if they go to college out of state, they can experience that same thing that they probably may not experience if they go to a college in their home state. Okay, so as far as the cons of going to school out of state, you know how I just said that you're basically in charge of yourself and you can do your own thing, you don't have to answer to anybody? Well, if you have family like mine who basically wants to know every little step you take and they want to know everything you're doing at all times of the day and who you're doing it with and what time you're going to go and what time you're going to come back. If you have family that's super nosy, you don't have to necessarily answer to them, but you might have to tell them what you're doing. I mean, you could always lie, but why would you do that? So if you have family that's really nosy, like you still do your own thing, but just know that they're gonna call you and they're gonna ask you what you're doing at any given moment. So it's not a whole bunch of privacy going on. And basically, if you have family that's very nosy like that, they want to know every single thing you're doing. That's obviously extremely annoying, especially if you're a senior in college and you're 22 years old. You're not grown, because 22 is not grown. You don't want people to be checking up on you all the time and wondering what you're doing all the time and wondering who you're with, wondering who you're hanging out with, and what you're doing all times of the day. That gets very, very annoying. It gets old very quickly. Then you might have the lucky ones who parents just kind of like let them chill. They let them do their own thing. You can do pretty much whatever you want with whoever you want at any time of the day, and nobody's gonna know because your parents aren't like calling you every hour. Also, another con about going to college out of state is the out-of-state fee. I don't know if this is all colleges, but definitely my college. If you're a resident of that state, of the college you're attending, the tuition is cheaper for in-state students compared to out-of-state students. So for out-of-state students, the tuition is usually higher. God bless me for sure, because for me at my school, I got the out-of-state fee waived because I'm like a double legacy. Both my parents attended the school and graduated from the school, so I think I'm pretty much paying the same amount as a Louisiana resident, even though I'm not a Louisiana resident. That's definitely something to think about if you want to go to college out of state. It's going to cost more to go to college out of state as opposed to just going to a college in your home state. So then if you go to college out of state, you may not have any family out there. You may be going to this college where you aren't going with any friends. So then when you go there, you literally don't know anybody and you're pretty much by yourself and you're pretty much left to fend for yourself. But it's really good if you're going to a college out of state where you have family or you have friends that you know that are going there with you, or friends that are already there that you know. If you have that set up, then that's really good. But if you don't have that set up, then that can be a lot more challenging, a lot more tough. If you're going to a school out of state where you don't know anybody at all, you're basically on your own until you can meet people and make friends with people that you really like and that you feel close to. So until then, you're just like completely by yourself. And then sometimes when you're going to school out of state and the cultures are very different and the way of life is very different, you can feel really different from your peers and all your classmates. The things that they talk about, the music that they listen to is just completely different from what you're used to and what you grew up on. There's almost like this slight disconnect, and it's like, I don't like to listen to the same things. I don't like to dance to the same music. We weren't raised the same way. We don't like to talk about the same things. And that's not with everybody. That's just with some people. You get used to that kind of quickly and you'll get over that. It can be kind of different having to deal with that when you go to a school out of state. And then of course, when you go to a college out of state, some people can feel really homesick. They miss their family and their friends back home a lot. For me personally, I've never once, in the whole 4 years that I've been here, I've never once felt homesick. And I don't know why, because me and my family are really, really close. But that's probably because they call me every other hour. I think if it was back in the day where cell phones didn't exist and all I had was a payphone, I probably would have been homesick, because then we probably only would have been able to talk once or a week. So then it probably would have affected me more. But since I talk to my family like 3 times a day, there's really no room for me to feel homesick, especially because there's FaceTime, so I get to see their face. So that helps. When you go to a college out of state, you have to live in a dorm. Having to share a bathroom with people is like almost torture. I wouldn't recommend it. That's literally a downside. That's literally one of the biggest downsides of going to a college out of state, is having to live in a dorm, having to share a bathroom, having to share a room. It's not fun. It's not cute. Not unless you get to room with your friends. But as a freshman, if you come to a college out of state, you don't know anybody. Everybody's gonna be strangers. You guys might end up being best friends, and that's great, but most of the time it doesn't happen like that. And most girls, I don't know, the girls out here, they don't wash their hands after they use the bathroom. Like, I've noticed that since my freshman year. They go to the bathroom and they don't wash their hands. I don't hear any water run. Never. That's why I can't do it. Like, I just can't do it. It's too much for me. For most students who go to college out of state, you don't have a car and you don't really have access to a car. At least maybe not your freshman year. Unless you drive to the school you're going to out of state, which if it's like really, really far, you're probably not gonna do that. But you could. To ship a car across country costs like so much money. And you're probably not gonna do that. You're basically around campus all day, every day. You're just landlocked, because you really can't go anywhere unless you walk or unless you make friends with someone who has a car. But if you don't have friends who have cars, then you're just stuck and you really can't go anywhere. That's definitely a con. You can't go anywhere that's not walking distance if you don't have a car or access to a car. And then the last con I will say, when you go to a college out of state, probably one of the biggest cons, say if you make really, really, really good friends with people, you guys are really close, you guys really connect, you really like each other, you guys have made may create a really great friendship with each other, and then when you graduate, you guys aren't going to see each other as often and the relationship may fade. But if you guys really mean enough to each other, you're going to keep that relationship going. But it's hard to keep a relationship going strong when you guys hardly ever see each other and you're hardly in each other's presence. When you make friends with people in college who live in a different state than you live in, so then once you leave college, it's like you guys may not be as close as you once were, and it's gonna be tough to try to keep up that friendship and try to maintain that friendship because you guys live so far away from each other and you guys don't see each other nearly as often as you used to, and that could be really tough. Would I recommend a person to go to college out of state? Yes, I would recommend it. I would just say, even if you don't go to college out of state, just do something out of state, out of your coastline, out of your region. Do something cross country, maybe even a different country by yourself. I know for women that could be kind of tough because, you know, things can happen. Even if it's just for a couple of days, just do something by yourself out of state. I just think it just really helps you just learn so much about yourself and grow as a person, because that's really what's happened to me since I've gone to college out of state. These past 4 years, like, it's helped me so much, and that's how I know, like, it was never ever meant for me to go to college in California. And I'm so glad I didn't go to a college in California because I needed this experience. Like, God knew I needed this experience. I would recommend going to a college out of state or just doing something out of state by yourself. Don't have anyone go with you, just do it and just see what you learn about yourself and just really figure out yourself as a person. See how much you just grow from that experience. Yeah, so that's the end of my video. I hope you guys liked it. If you go to college out of state, let me know your experience, or if you're about to go to college out of state, let me know like what you hope your experience to be like. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and turn on post notifications so you know if I whenever I post a new video. I love you guys so much if you made it to the end of this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.